Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're really getting into the story of two incredible figures, Patti Smith and Robert Mapplethorpe.
Yeah, a fascinating pair. And we're using Smith's own words, her narrative, as our main guide here. It's incredibly personal, very detailed.
Exactly. And our mission today isn't just to retell the story, but to find those, specific moments, the little things, the promises, the struggles that really forged them into the artists they became.
It's about how that relationship was the engine, really.
How did it fuel their individual art, even as their lives went in different directions? That's what we want to explore.
And what's great about this source is the honesty. It doesn't shy away from the grim realities, the absolute poverty they started in.
Right.
And it connects that harshness, the descriptions of their apartment, the lack of money, directly to their artistic commitment. It shows how that struggle wasn't just background noise, it was fundamental. It shaped everything.
Okay, so let's start at the beginning. Patti Smith's childhood in Germantown, Pennsylvania, living in those whitewashed barracks.
Yeah, the patch. It's this interesting mix she paints, isn't it? Like childhood innocence, daisy chains, fireflies in jars.
But alongside that, these really deep, almost existential questions popping up very early on.
Oh, definitely. That spiritual curiosity is key.
Yeah.
She talks about asking her mom, what is the soul? What color is it? Really fundamental stuff for a kid.
And there's that specific detail about prayer, wanting to stop saying, if I should die before I wake.
Right. She found it frightening. So she negotiated with her mother to switch to silent prayer, which she felt was more about listening. She called it her entrance into the radiance of imagination. That quiet space became crucial for her.
And then came the books. She wasn't just reading, she was trying to absorb them, wasn't she?
Totally. She describes being completely smitten by the book itself, hiding her mom's copy of Fox's Book of Martyrs under her pillow.
Yeah. Hoping to soak it up through osmosis or something.
It suggests she saw knowledge, or maybe inspiration, as this tangible thing you could get close to, not just intellectual.
And that physical connection seems to play into her first big art moment, right? The museum trip.
Absolutely. Age 12, Philadelphia Museum of Art. She feels this immediate physical identification with Modigliani's figures, like she recognized them bodily.
But it was Picasso that really hit her.
Yeah, the brutal confidence she saw in his work. It floored her and led to this big argument with her father, who just dismissed Picasso completely. A real moment of separation, you could say.
So while Patti's finding her way through this confrontational power in art, Robert Mapplethorpe's early experiences are quite different, more about quiet precision.
Very different, yes. His childhood in Floral Park.
Mm-hmm.
He was described as having this precise nature, drawn to specific kinds of beauty.
Like what?
Things that sparkled or shone, jewels, rich altar dressings, the shine on a saxophone, very visual, very specific things. Concrete beauty, almost sacred to him.
And that translated into what he actually made.
Exactly. He started making jewelry, intricate little brooches and things, mainly for his mother.
Which wasn't exactly typical for a boy back then, I imagine.
No, his older brother apparently made fun of him, called it a girl's pursuit. But his mom was supportive. And that commitment to making beautiful things, regardless of what people thought, that really tells you something about his later dedication to his art. The object, the creation, came first.
Okay, so fast forward a bit. Patti decides against the expected factory work, maybe teacher's college.
Right, she's inspired by Rimbaud, Illuminations, which, interestingly, she shoplifted.
Huh, yes. That detail matters. And her escape to New York feels almost fated, doesn't it? Finding that money.
Oh, completely. Finding $32 in a purse in a phone booth. She didn't just see it as luck. She took it as a sign. The hand of fate pushing me on, as she put it. She was looking for justification, and she found it.
And fate, or maybe just New York, leads her straight to Robert.
Yep, that first meeting is pretty legendary. In Brentano's bookstore, she's uncomfortable. This guy's bothering her.
And Robert just swoops in.
Sweeps in, pretends to be her boyfriend, pulls her away. They collapse on a stoop outside, and she says, "Thank you, you saved my life." That kind of immediate high-stakes connection set the tone.
And they clicked artistically almost instantly, it seems.
Yeah, he showed her his work pretty quickly. These drawings mixing words and lines, the Ego Love God discs.
And that really specific, almost prophetic drawing from Memorial Day 67.
Destruction of the Universe, May 30, 67.
Hmm.
It wasn't just doodling, it felt like a statement of intent, a commitment to blowing things up creatively and starting fresh, which mirrored a vow she'd made herself that same year.
But this grand artistic vision immediately slams into, well, reality, finding an apartment.
Oh yeah, 160 Hall Street in Brooklyn, $80 a month. which sounds cheap now, but even then.
And they only got it because they agreed to clean it up
Right,
themselves.
and cleanup is putting it mildly. Smith describes finding blood smears, syringes in the oven. I mean, just grim, aggressively seedy.
Wow, that really grounds it, doesn't it? It wasn't romantic poverty. It was dangerous, potentially.
Definitely. It underscores that survival itself felt tied to their art from day one. And the poverty acted as that filter we mentioned earlier.
How so?
Well, their budget was incredibly tight, debating whether to spend an extra dime on chocolate milk instead of regular milk, eating stale cookies, day-old bread,
So every choice mattered.
every single penny. And that ruthless prioritizing of resources, that dime, that loaf of bread, they applied that same focus to their art. What's essential? What can we strip away? If you can't afford fancy food, you can't afford creative distractions either. So they just immersed themselves in what they could afford, studying records like Blonde on Blonde, reading intensely. That became their world.
As things started to shift slightly, maybe get a tiny bit easier, Robert's focus took a turn, didn't it? Towards darker themes.
Yeah, after Hall Street, he got really interested in, well, fame and fortune. And he started exploring occult imagery, Lucifer, thinking about making some kind of pact for success.
Which contrasts so sharply with Patti praying for his soul.
Exactly. She's going to St. Patrick's on her lunch breaks, praying to save him, while he's sort of invoking darker forces to, get ahead. It's quite the dichotomy.
And this tension, this difference in approach, seemed to build up.
It did. It led to that really difficult moment between them. Robert was clearly struggling with his own identity, sexuality.
And he issued that ultimatum.
Yeah, if you don't come, I'll be with a guy, I'll turn homosexual line, which must have been incredibly painful and confusing for her.
But then came the letter.
The letter, yes. Written on fancy Scribner's stationery. That's where he tried to explain himself.
But it wasn't really just about sexuality, was it?
No, not fundamentally. As Smith interpreted it, it was about his artistic soul, his creative process. He wrote things like, I open doors, I close doors, I stand naked when I draw, God holds my hand, and we sing together.
So she saw it as a reaffirmation of their artistic bond, above everything else.
Precisely. She called it a communion wafer, sacred, a sign that no matter where his personal life went, their creative connection was unbreakable, their vow held.
And this seemed to unlock something for him, creatively. Finding his medium.
It seems like it. She'd been telling him for ages to take his own photos instead of cutting up magazines for his collages.
Right.
Then Sandy Daly lends him a Polaroid camera, and something just clicked. The immediacy of it, the snap, the 60-second wait, the image appearing, it fit his personality, that desire for precision and instant results.
So he pivots hard into photography.
Absolutely. It became his focus. And Patti, meanwhile, she's finding her own new path, too.
The haircut.
The famous Keith Richards haircut, yeah. Suddenly she's seen as androgynous, and her whole social world kind of explodes. She gains this new visibility.
Leading up to that first big performance at St. Mark's Church.
Yeah, a landmark moment. She wanted it to be chaotic, telling Lenny Kaye she wanted the sound of a car crash with an electric guitar.
Which was apparently the first time an electric guitar had even been played there.
So they say, both of them finding their distinct voices, making noise, breaking rules, in parallel.
Robert's path then gets a huge boost from patrons, right?
Oh yeah. David Crowland was key, introducing him to John McKendry at the Met.
Getting access to the photography vaults there, that must have been incredible for him.
Imagine a young artist, basically self-taught in photography, getting to handle prints by the masters, touching the history. That's invaluable.
And then came Sam Wagstaff.
Right. Wagstaff became his patron, his lover, and really opened up the art world for him. Provided money, the Bond Street loft, connections.
But more than just money, Wagstaff offered a whole aesthetic environment, didn't he?
Totally. Wagstaff was this connoisseur, living in this perfectly curated space. Robert was obsessed with documenting it, capturing that refined world. It gave him the platform, the context, to really become Mapplethorpe, the professional artist.
Which all leads, in a way, to that iconic Horses album cover.
Definitely. A culmination. Robert specifically wanted to shoot it in Wagstaff's penthouse, using the natural light, that triangle of light hitting the white wall.
And Patti just standing there, white shirt, black jacket.
Yeah.
So simple, yet so powerful.
And her take on that photo says it all, doesn't it? When I look at it now, I never see me. I see us.
It wasn't just her portrait. It was a portrait of their entire shared journey, forged back in that tiny, grim Brooklyn apartment.
Exactly. It embodies the whole story.
So even as their lives diverged, success for him, her own path with music and family, what kept that bond so strong? especially through Robert's illness later on.
It really seems to come back to that original vow, that fundamental commitment they made to each other, to their art together.
Even when things got incredibly tough.
Right. Like in 1986,
Yeah.
Robert gets his AIDS diagnosis, and around the same time, Patty's pregnant with her second child. It's heavy.
And Robert makes her another promise.
Yeah, really poignant one. He tells her, look, if anything happens to your husband, Fred, don't worry. He'd buy a brownstone, like Warhol's, and she could come live with him, still protecting her right to the end.
It shows he understood their connection was something different, beyond labels.
Completely. He summed it up himself, didn't he? We never had any children. Our work was our children. Their creative output was the legacy of their partnership.
He passed away in 1989. What did Patti keep from him, physically?
Very little, actually. She talks about the agony of seeing his things auctioned off his desk, his chair, but she kept just a few key items. Talismans, really.
What were they?
A lock of his hair, a handful of his ashes, and that Persian necklace he'd given her years before, the one with the 2 violet plaques etched in Arabic, the gift from the boy who loved Michelangelo, as she called him.
Just those few things. The essential relics.
Exactly. Enough to hold the memory.
So, wrapping this up, this whole narrative really shows you the journey, doesn't it? From, like you said, debating chocolate milk to creating this defining image, stealing a book to securing a legacy.
It really does. And it underlines that their ultimate goal wasn't maybe fame or money in themselves, but fulfilling that initial promise.
The note he wrote her.
Yeah, that they would create art together and we would make it, with or without the rest of the world. And they did. Their separate successes were rooted in that shared vow.
That collective promise led to individual greatness.
You could say that. Their partnership, that intense commitment, was the foundation for everything.
And the source itself ends with that thought about Robert's work being his enduring truth. In the end, truth will be found in his work, the corporeal body of the artist. It will not fall away. Maybe it makes you think, what are the core commitments, the vows that shape your own choices? What do you filter in or out based on that?